Hello and welcome to this video on muscle hypertrophy, where we'll be exploring the science of muscle growth. If you're interested in building muscle, then you're in the right place. Whether you're a fitness enthusiast or a beginner, understanding how muscles grow can help you to get the most out of your training. So let's get started. Section 1. What is muscle hypertrophy? Muscle hypertrophy is a complex process that involves the growth and adaptation of muscle fibers in response to various stimuli. It occurs due to a process called protein synthesis, which is the process of building new proteins within the body. When we engage in resistance training, such as lifting weights, our muscles undergo microdamage, resulting in tiny tears in the muscle fibers. This process is known as muscle fiber damage, and it triggers a cascade of events that leads to muscle hypertrophy. In response to this microdamage, the body activates a process called muscle protein synthesis, which is the process of creating new proteins within the muscle fibers. These new proteins repair the damage caused by resistance training, making the muscles stronger and more resilient. The process of muscle hypertrophy is dependent on several factors, including the intensity and volume of the resistance training, the nutritional status of the individual, and the hormonal environment within the body. When these factors are optimized, muscle hypertrophy can occur rapidly, resulting in significant gains in muscle size and strength. Section 2. The science of muscle hypertrophy. Muscle hypertrophy is a multifaceted process that involves a complex interplay of cellular and molecular mechanisms. At the cellular level, muscle hypertrophy occurs due to an increase in the size and number of muscle fibers. Muscle fibers are made up of myofibrils, which are the contractile units of muscle. When we engage in resistance training, such as weightlifting, the muscle fibers are subjected to mechanical stress, resulting in microdamage to the myofibrils. This damage triggers a series of events that lead to the activation of satellite cells, which are specialized cells within the muscle tissue that play a critical role in muscle repair and growth. Once activated, satellite cells fuse with existing muscle fibers, resulting in an increase in the size and number of myofibrils. This process is known as myofibrillar hypertrophy, and it is associated with increases in muscle strength. In addition to myofibrillar hypertrophy, there is another form of hypertrophy known as sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. This type of hypertrophy occurs due to an increase in the amount of fluid and non-contractile proteins within the muscle fibers. While sarcoplasmic hypertrophy does not contribute to strength gains, it is associated with an increase in muscle size. The process of muscle hypertrophy is dependent on the activation of muscle protein synthesis, which is the process of building new proteins within the muscle fibers. Protein synthesis occurs in response to various stimuli, including resistance training, adequate protein intake, and hormonal signaling. Several hormones play a critical role in muscle hypertrophy, including testosterone, insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, and growth hormone. These hormones stimulate muscle protein synthesis, resulting in an increase in muscle size and strength. Muscle hypertrophy is a complex process that involves the activation of satellite cells, the fusion of satellite cells with existing muscle fibers, and the activation of muscle protein synthesis. This process is dependent on various factors, including resistance training, nutrition, and hormonal signaling. By understanding the science behind muscle hypertrophy, individuals can optimize their training and achieve their goals more effectively. Section 3. Factors influencing muscle hypertrophy. Muscle hypertrophy is a complex process that is influenced by various factors, including the type of resistance training, the volume and intensity of the training, nutrition, and hormonal signaling. The type of resistance training refers to the specific exercises used during training. Resistance training can be divided into two categories: compound exercises and isolation exercises. Compound exercises involve multiple muscle groups, such as squats and deadlifts, while isolation exercises to target specific muscles, such as bicep curls and leg extensions. Research has shown that compound exercises are more effective for promoting muscle hypertrophy than isolation exercises. This is because compound exercises activate more muscle fibers and stimulate a greater hormonal response, resulting in increased muscle protein synthesis. The volume and intensity of the training are also crucial factors in muscle hypertrophy. Volume refers to the total number of sets and repetitions performed during a training session, while intensity refers to the amount of weight lifted. Higher volumes and intensities are associated with greater muscle protein synthesis and hypertrophy. Nutrition is another critical factor in muscle hypertrophy. Adequate protein intake is essential for muscle protein synthesis, and research has shown that consuming protein before and after resistance training can enhance muscle hypertrophy. Additionally, carbohydrate intake is important for providing the energy needed to perform resistance training. Finally, hormonal signaling plays a crucial role in muscle hypertrophy. Hormones such as testosterone, IGF-1, and growth hormones stimulate muscle protein synthesis and contribute to muscle hypertrophy. Resistance training, nutrition, and adequate sleep are all factors that can influence hormone levels. In conclusion, muscle hypertrophy is a complex process that involves the activation of satellite cells, the fusion of satellite cells with existing muscle fibers, and the activation of muscle protein synthesis. This process is dependent on various factors, including resistance training, nutrition, and hormonal signaling. Understanding the science behind muscle hypertrophy is crucial for individuals looking to maximize their muscle growth and strength gains. By optimizing their training, nutrition, and lifestyle habits, individuals can promote muscle hypertrophy and achieve their goals more effectively. If you found this video informative, please consider subscribing to our channel for more science-based fitness and health content. And if you have any questions or comments about muscle hypertrophy, please leave them down below, and we'll be happy to respond. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.